Yo, what is going on, you guys? So today I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, I will be talking about Gary Vaynerchuk and how you guys can all profit from Gary V being in the hobby, from someone that big being in the sports card hobby, and obviously all the influence that comes with him. So without further ado, we're gonna hop right into this. So I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit, about when Gary V makes those posts. Saying, he'll come out with 5 or 6 cards occasionally of, 5 or 6 new cards that he's invested a lot of money in. And basically the whole market will go to those players. As you guys know, Devin Booker was one of them. His prices were basically like $250, less than $250. And then that post happened, and boom, they jumped to like $750, I think. And now they've settled down to around like $500 range. But definitely, if you guys had saw that coming, you could have made a lot of money. And obviously, that's something you think about. Luckily for me, Devin Booker and Kevin Durant were 2 of my top 5 investments. I was super high on Booker. I owned a ton of Booker. And so I made a lot of money, and I did sell off on most of the Booker I had. Just because I loved him as a purchase at $200. I loved him at the purchase at when I was buying for $150. But to think, his prices were going to 600, I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want, to be in Devin Booker at $600, just because he hasn't won a lot and stuff like that. But basically, what I want to get across with this is that if you guys can predict Gary V's next investments, you can make a lot of money, and there are definitely ways to predict. So he's dropped a lot of hints. Obviously, before KD, he had already been kind of on that, range of guys who are undervalued. And one of the young stars he's talked a lot about is De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox is one guy Gary V's talked a lot about. Now, I say any day now, honestly, he could come out with a post of him buying, 300 De'Aaron Foxes because he thinks they're undervalued. That is something I legitimately could see happening very soon, or somewhere in the future. I'm sure he owns a lot of De'Aaron Fox from how much he was talking about him in some of his videos. So definitely, De'Aaron Fox is one guy who I'm thinking like, one, he's a very good investment, but 2, if Gary V's on him as well, one, just first of all, when he buys a lot of a player, the price would naturally rise a little bit because he's got the market, he's got enough money to really sway the market with just buying a lot. It's basically an influx in demand, yet it's one guy just buying everything, right? So definitely, that's a way you can definitely make some money. Obviously, there is no guarantees that De'Aaron Fox will be the next guy Gary V, pumps up, as people like to call it. I don't even consider it pumping up. For me, it's just mainly like, ooh, this is quite a steal right here. But yeah, I wouldn't even consider it pumping up, honestly. My personal advice to anybody out there in the card market is, not to get on Gary V, not to blame him, but rather to look at ways that you can, I guess, get a beneficiary from it. I know there's definitely, people love to go ahead and blame him for posting his picks, do whatever it is. One, you just can't control what he's going to do. So there's no real point of, just being mad at him. There's more of, there's an opportunity, honestly. I see it as an opportunity to make some money from, having a guy that big. First of all, he brings a lot of new people into the hobby. And just second of all, he definitely can sway the market on cards. That's not, I guess, a secret. Everyone knows that he can sway the market of a card with one Instagram story post, right? So you just got to look at that and say, if he's, talking about De'Aaron Fox or whoever else he's talking about a lot of old guys right now, right? So I would guess, another vintage player he might be buying a lot of. He's been posting a lot of vintage players on his Instagram, but yeah, if he's talking about De'Aaron Fox a lot, I'm thinking like, damn, maybe if I stack up on De'Aaron Fox, first of all, it's a very good investment. But second of all, if Gary V does that, that's just all the more, that's just better for me, 1, and 2, it's just an easy chance at a skyrocket. And if he actually pumps up De'Aaron Fox, in a real Instagram post, I can see his cards going to $400 plus. You saw what happened to Booker. He went from $240 to $750. I could see that same thing happening to Fox if, one day GaryVee comes out and does that. Now, obviously, it's not a sustained method. So if you do not believe in the player personally, I would not recommend going ahead and buying De'Aaron Fox if you don't believe in him just because of the chance GaryVee does it. But, it's just basically another, I guess perk of buying De'Aaron Fox or buying a player you believe in is that you could possibly have it. And there's definitely ways you can do some research within this, such as going to GaryVee's, sports card. I think he had a long live stream. He did have some other posts about it. Just going to them, trying to see patterns, seeing, guys he mentions here and there, because he had mentioned KD before, and definitely just, I guess keeping up with his Twitter and stuff. He posts a lot of stuff he buys, and, eventually if he comes out with another Instagram post, you could see certain guys' prices go up. Like Shaq's cards went crazy from that. Vince Carter's cards went crazy from that. Devin Booker, KD, basically everyone he posted. So there's just so much money you can make from that. It's not guaranteed. It's another perk of buying a card. Like I said, it's not something you're going to go ahead and rely on. But definitely it's another perk of buying, De'Aaron Fox in my mind, right? I love De'Aaron Fox anyways, but now that GaryVee's on him as well, that's another plus for me. So just trying to, I guess, look at it from a different perspective. I encourage you guys, if you guys are, mad at GaryVee or whatever it is, I would just encourage you to look at it from another perspective. If you were at his level, would you let other people who just, are in it for their own personal interest, let you decide what to do? Like, he has full control. It's his social media. He can post what he wants. There's no reason I would not, I don't agree with the people blindly buying just because he posts something on Instagram, but you got to accept the fact. There's, he's a genius. He's invested in like Uber and a bunch of companies before. He is, a genius at investing. So there are going to be a lot of people who, just buy cards because he, said something about it. There are going to be people, no matter what you think about it, and I disagree with blindly buying it because some guy said it, but, people are going to blindly buy because GaryVee said it. That's just kind of how it goes. So you got to look at it from that perspective and just see, honestly what you want to do about it. But, yeah, I do want to say also, I do have my membership program. We recently passed 400 members, which I want to thank you guys so much for. I basically study trends, and I've been able to pick up on trends, before the market picks up on them. Like first year Prism, I was able to predict would skyrocket before it did. First year Optic, I was able to predict would skyrocket. Because I kind of look at trends on Facebook Marketplace and, Facebook groups, and I can see sort of traction happening with certain cards before they go up. So if you guys are interested in getting weekly reports of 10 sports cards I believe will go up, 10 sports cards I believe will go down that week, and 3 long-term underground NBA investments, go ahead, head to the link down below. Use code YouTube for 10% off. I really appreciate all the support. And yeah, we've definitely been making a lot of money over the last 3 months with my membership program, going ahead and spotting trends, spotting that a player is going to go up soon because I can see movement on Facebook before the market picks up. So if you guys are interested in making some money with me, click the link below. Use code YouTube for 10% off. Other than that, I hope you guys did enjoy. I hope you guys learned something from this video, and I'm out. Peace.